The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Once again this season, Qantas is proud to be flying Australia's cricketers as they take on the world. Hello, welcome to the Unplayable Podcast, penultimate episode of the season here, and we're very excited to bring it to you. We've got a big show coming up with Martin Love, the Sheffield Shield final specialist. We've got a chat with him coming up. And plenty of other stuff as well as we look forward to that Sheffield Shield final between Victoria and South Australia. My name is Josh Schonafinger, joined as always by Kane Richardson. Richo, you must be pumped ahead of this week's grand final.
Well, it is. And you said it's penultimate. It's gone. Time flies, doesn't it, when you're having fun? There's been so much good cricket to talk about. We're getting to the pointy end. I've said it's trophy season for like 3 weeks in a row now. We're obviously waiting for the Shield final to begin, and there's been some talking points leading into that, which I'm sure we'll get to. But, yeah, looking forward to it.
There have been, yeah. So we'll touch on the selections and the top players so far this season and all those things. But first, we should get to this week's weekly winner. Do you want to take us away? We've only got two of these to go.
I feel like I will. I'll take this one.
All right. Yeah, the coins come down in your favour.
Gold Coast Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, you've gone there.
I had to. Lau, you live on the Gold Coast now. I was a previous resident on Gold Coast, played some games for the Dolphins. So I actually choked on my breakfast when I wasn't following the live stream. Apologies, boys. But when I read the scorecard.
This is the final of the
So I didn't even know that
as well,
the final. So again, apologies. I've really removed myself from the WhatsApp group. But they've made the final. Lost the toss, 2 for 1 early. I'm not sure if it was first or second over, 2 for 1.
Good start by the Northern Suburbs.
Great start. And the wind predictor. And then all of a sudden, the third wicket falls at 630. 629 run partnership.
Wow.
Now, there's days in the field on weekends. Now, I haven't played a lot of club cricket, but I reckon there's days in the field or in the dugout that you're questioning why. Why are you doing this? You're giving up your weekend. You might work Monday to Friday. Imagine how many thoughts would go through your head when you're fielding at deep square leg or deep point, watching Hugo Burden and Stephen Muller. I'm not sure. I've never met the Muller's work. I've never come across him, but 272 not out for him, and then for Hugo Burden, 340. That's a big day.
That's massive.
Big 2 days.
Yeah, I think it's the second highest score in Brisbane or Queensland grade cricket history.
Behind Matt Renshaw.
Is that right?
345. There's something with Queensland club cricket. They churn them out. And it's a 4-day final, which I'm not sure other states do. I know South Australia didn't do that. It was a 2-day final.
So now you've got this situation where Northern Suburbs have to wait a whole week to come back and lose.
Training. Imagine training this week. And they're already 3 down. They're 3 for 30.
Yeah.
So I do like 4-day final, but over 2 weeks, you got a lot to think about during the week. So batting hours only at training this week. But my weekly winner is the Dolphins. Hugo Burden, as I said, not familiar with Stephen or Stephen Muller, so I'll try and get around him. Beat Matthew Mott and Andrew Simon's previous record of 446. Not only they beat it, they've pumped
smashed it.
Yeah. So, well done.
Yeah, well done to Hugo. 12 sixes in his knock as well. Just pretty handy, and 34s as well. Interestingly, those two batters, Burden and Muller, both faced exactly 492 balls. So
really?
They shared the love.
Numerology. That's amazing. I wonder if he's a relation to Scott.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because I know he was a previous Gold Coast Dolphin as well. So
the alumni at Gold Coast Dolphins is pretty strong, isn't it?
It is pretty strong. So anyone looking for a game, maybe don't go to the Gold Coast. They're pretty strong.
Well, yeah, that was my weekly winner as well.
Sorry.
We often don't double up. So maybe it's a good sign that we're thinking along the same wavelength.
Well, yours could be the guy who took the 3 for Northern Suburbs.
Yeah, Scully.
He got every wicket.
Yeah. He needed a few more mates though, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But speaking of big performers in finals, obviously Hugo Burden is now on that list with his 340. But Martin Love, he did it across 11 finals for Queensland Bulls. He made over 1,100 runs in Shield finals alone, including 5 centuries. And he also was part of that team that we spoke about last week that made 6 for 900 against Victoria. I asked him about that and a few of his other highlights from playing in all those finals. And here's the chat with him now. Now, we won't see Queensland in this year's Sheffield Shield final, but we do get to speak to some Sheffield Shield royalty who played all his cricket with the Bulls. It's Martin Love. Welcome to the Unplayable. Martin, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. You've been out of cricket for a little while, but you've been managing to stay involved via physiotherapy. Can you talk us through what you're up to these days?
Yeah, so once I finished playing, I worked for Queensland Cricket for 13 years, and that's changed to back to working in a private practice for the last 2 years now. So out of the Queensland Cricket for the moment. It's working in a family practice, like a family physio clinic, essentially in Brisbane, and enjoying that. But trying to still doing a bit with Cricket Australia. I was lucky enough to travel to Africa with the Australia under-19 team to the World Cup back in January. So I was physio with that. So that was a great trip and a good experience. So I'm still doing bits and pieces here and there, still involved in cricket.
That's fantastic. Was that something that you were studying as you were playing, or was it just something that came to you when your cricket career was finished?
No, I was studying physio when I was playing, so back in the 90s, which was a lot easier then because the training commitments weren't as great as they are now. We basically, most people either worked or studied essentially, and that's what we did. So I managed to get my degree out of the way in the early part of my career, and then once I finished playing in 2009, I went back and did my physio masters, and then worked with Queensland Cricket from there. So it's been a very cricket heavy life so far.
Okay, so for those who aren't as familiar with the Martin Love story, there's plenty of stats to dial into here. Over 200 first-class matches, over 10,000 first-class runs for Queensland, 5 test matches in there as well, and over 1,000 runs in Sheffield Shield finals. In fact, Martin here played in 11 Shield finals, including 8 in a row between 1999 and 2006. Martin, what was it like to be seemingly always in the biggest game of the season?
Queensland in that generation or those years, we had a very good side, and that's probably because the Australian Test side was very settled as well and had some very good players in it. So we tended to keep a very good side on the park most years, which culminated in Shield finals at the end of most seasons as well. So that's what you play, obviously, to enjoy the game, but to make it to finals at the end of the season is always a really good way to finish the season off, and to play in so many was a great achievement, I guess, but also a great experience, and each one of them tells their own story.
Absolutely. Now let's get into some of those individual matches, which includes Queensland's first ever Sheffield Shield victory in 1994-95, defeated South Australia by an innings, and Martin, you got 146 in the first innings. What are your memories from that game?
Well, there's a lot of, I guess Queensland had been in plenty of finals up to that stage, but had never quite gotten across the line. Plenty of heartbreak. There's some stories, old footage of Queensland playing New South Wales, the SCG, of not being able to get the last wicket to win the game. And then obviously as these sort of years went on, it's not having won it for, over 60 years, that pressure sort of kept building. So to then finally get a home final, which is the first time we'd managed to achieve that, and have that played at the Gabba in front of home crowds made things a lot easier for us. And then, we got off to a good start. And I guess, once we sort of got our noses in front, we were always going to come away with the victory, and then, we got 664 in our first innings, and it's pretty hard to lose from there.
You spoke about always coming second and Queensland's poor record in finals to that point. Were you guys as a playing group aware of the pressure? Were you feeling the pressure? And was there a lot of expectation coming from outside the group as well?
I was well aware of the history. Growing up, I grew up on a cattle property, so the only thing we had to entertain ourselves was ABC TV and ABC radio. So in those days, the test matches were on ABC TV, and all the Shield games were on ABC radio. So we'd always have a lot of travel to get to cricket matches. So we'd always be listening to the radio, and you hear about all those heartbreaks of getting so close but never quite getting over the line. And so you're well and truly aware of the history. But being a Queenslander and not winning it up and for a number of years. So that expectation of not so much both the previous players that have played for Queensland, but also the rest of all the Queenslanders that had been ridden those highs and lows as well. Had that expectation and pressure from them to come away with a win was certainly felt.
Now, after Paul Jackson took the winning wicket of Jason Gillespie and the drought had been broken, I'm guessing quite a few of those past players joined in the celebrations with you guys.
We had a lot in the dressing room that night. I mean, at that stage, the Gabba was getting knocked down to get ready for the 2000 Olympics. So we only had sort of half the stadium available for spectators. So our dressing room was actually in the old Brisbane Lions building on the opposite side to where our normal dressing rooms were. So, which was quite good because it was quite big. So that allowed a lot of people to come in after the game. And there was lots of past players that had, been through matches that they hadn't, finals that they hadn't managed to win, and that sort of disappointment of not being able to win the Shield for the first time for Queensland. So we certainly shared it with them. To be fair, the celebrations did go on for a number of weeks. It wasn't just one night.
You were involved in a lot of victories after this one as well, Martin, but I imagine it would have been tough to beat this one in terms of how great the celebrations were.
Oh, look, the first one was special, and that's not. It wasn't so much for us. It was for all our families and, as I said, the past players and the rest of Queensland who'd grown up not watching Queensland win the Sheffield Shield. So, we were lucky. We got to take the Sheffield Shield around the state for a couple of weeks after that. The government gave us one of their planes that we could fly around in. So we did trips up the coast and then out west into some of the country towns. So we felt as though we could get the Sheffield Shield back to all those country places that had supported us over many years.
Wow, that's very cool, in fact. Now, as you said, it started a period of real dominance for Queensland, and the Bulls won 3 titles in a row between 2000 and 2002. And then you took part in one of the great finals that we've seen in this competition, New South Wales and Queensland. The Blues won by just 1 wicket in a low-scoring match. Nathan Bracken and Stuart McGill got the final 22 runs needed. What was it like? That must have been a real heart-stopper.
Yeah, it was a very obviously devastating for us with the finish. That game had a lot of twists and turns to it. Was played on a wicket. I think there'd been weather leading into the final, so the wicket didn't get as much preparation as the groundsman would have liked. So it was certainly a little bit more bowler friendly. And I think the scores probably reflected that. There was only, I think, a couple of innings over 50 for the game. I think Brad Haddon might have got a couple of 50s. But yeah, it came down. New South Wales were going really well, and then we took like 5 wickets for not many, I think, to bring them down to thinking that we were a chance of winning with the 9th wicket needing another 20 odd to win. But unfortunately, we just couldn't manage to get that last wicket, and luck didn't quite go our way. We dropped a chance or two, difficult ones, but in finals, that's the difference between winning and losing sometimes, and we didn't quite take our opportunities at the back end. But having said that, there's always plenty of things during a game that lead towards a victory, not just the things that happen right at the end that everyone remembers about. So, it was a very exciting match. We just unfortunately came off on the wrong side.
Yeah, it was a real low-scoring match. Only Brad Haddon and yourself got over 50. In fact, the only score over 70 for the whole match was your 116. When you look back now, in terms of the degree of difficulty, this innings must have been right up there for you.
Yeah, it was a challenging, and for me, leading into that game, I hadn't been scoring many runs at all. I was coming off the back of a broken finger earlier in the season, so I hadn't really managed to score any runs since coming back. So it was especially pleasing to manage to get some runs in the final on a challenging wicket. So it sort of get us back in the, with a chance to win with a decent score and a better score in our second innings. But yes, unfortunately didn't quite get there, but it was probably one of the more challenging innings to play on a difficult wicket against a good bowling lineup. So from that end, it was more of a grind to get through. There weren't too many flashy shots played. There was plenty of edges and squirts to places where I didn't mean to hit them. But essentially, you've got to bat time, and that's what I managed to do, and got the runs in the end. So unfortunately, the result didn't quite go our way.
Well, you still managed 19 boundaries in there, and I can only look at the scorecard, so I'm going to imagine that they're all beautiful cover drives and on drives and flicks to square leg.
Well, not quite. There's probably a couple out of the middle, but there probably would have been a few down to third man as well, I reckon.
And then the following year, Queensland are hosting Victoria in the final. The Vics bat first, make 344, and then Queensland come out and make 6 for 900 declared. 900. Doesn't look right just looking at that scorecard. But can you talk us through those few days at the Gabba? Because that is a ludicrous scorecard.
It is. It's a lot of runs. And I think there might have been a year or two in between the game against New South Wales, because the year we played Victoria at the MCG in a final. The year before we got the 900, and Victoria batted for 2 days and got 700, and kept us out in the field for a long time. So I think there was a bit of we're going to get you back kind of mentality going as well. So I think that the wicket was a very good wicket as well, and we bowled quite well to bowl Victoria out for around that 300 mark, and then we just decided, right, we're just going to bat for a long time. So the wicket got better. It was quite warm still. The Victorian bowlers have bowled a lot, so we just decided to keep pounding on the runs, but we still wanted to win the game, and that was one thing that we wanted to do. We could have kept batting, obviously, to get more than 900, but we wanted to leave enough time in the game to win it rather than just playing out a draw. And that we managed to do. I think Mitchell Johnson got 5 wickets in the second innings, and the early part of his career. So I think the Vics were pretty tired from fielding for 200 and something overs, I reckon it was. I can't remember how many, but it was a lot. I think they had to end up having 4 new balls through the innings. So it was a long time. So that was a little bit of payback from the year before. But also, it was, I don't think there's many scorecards where 2 batters get 200s or 2 double hundreds, and then 2 other batters get, I think I was the 4th highest century maker. I got 160 something, I think. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, so there was a lot of runs scored, that's for sure.
And as you say, it's not as if you guys are just stonewalling. 244 overs, 3.71 is the run rate. So it's not as if you guys have just playing dead bat. There's plenty of runs being scored out there as well.
No, it was a pretty good wicket, but we had Shane Watson. We had lots of good batters that scored runs, and as the Victorians got tired, they probably weren't bowling as well, and the momentum was all in our favour at that stage. So yeah, we did score. We probably got quicker as the innings went on. But we wanted to leave enough time in the game as well. So that was probably another reason to get well and truly in front. So we didn't have to bat again. So, but yeah, no, it was a good result in the end. It was always nice. It's always nice to win a game rather than getting the Shield just because it's a draw because you're hosting the final.
Totally. And that final margin was an innings and 352 runs. So a convincing victory there at the Gabba. Now, Martin, across all those finals that you've played in and all those centuries you scored, 5 centuries, in fact, in Shield finals, which is a record that still holds to this day. What's the standout? Because when we look back, since the final came in 1982-83, well, no one scored more runs than you and no one's had more success than you. So what stands out?
I think the favourite would be the first Shield win. So scoring 100, 140 odd in that game, just, to be part of that, and scoring 100. Alan Border was playing. So all our legends of Queensland, Alan Border, Carl Rackham, Dirk Tasler, were all playing that had tried and failed previously. So it was nice to be part of a win for them as well. And then, just some of the hundreds weren't in winning games either. So whilst they're hundreds in finals, you always would prefer to score runs in games that you help win. So there's probably, there's a couple of those that, were in losing finals. And my last game for Queensland was a Shield final in Melbourne. So that was 100 in a losing final as well. So there's lots of, it's nice to score the runs, but I guess sometimes it's nice to score those runs in winning games as well.
Now, just before we let you go, I want to talk to you about playing against Bangladesh because you played 2 tests against the Tigers in 2003. And of course, the Tigers, they're coming back to Australia in August this year. They're going to be playing tests in Darwin and Mackay. You faced them in Darwin and Cairns. What are your memories of those two matches?
Memories of our batters scoring a lot of runs. And it was interesting. It was the first time we'd played in Darwin and in Cairns in test matches. So, it was a good experience. I guess I was very early on in my career. That was my sort of fourth and fifth test matches. I got a duck in Darwin. So I watched Steve Waugh and Darren Lehman score lots of runs before I went out. So I went out there and missed one early on. And then in the game in Cairns, I was lucky enough to score 100. Batted with Steve Waugh for quite a while. Well, he got 150, I think. So good to finish. I guess at that stage, it was a Test match 100, but it ended up being my last opportunity to play for Australia as well. So it's an interesting stat finishing your last Test match with a 100 not out, and then finishing your last first class game 100 not out. There's probably not too many that have done that. So it's an interesting way to finish off careers.
I imagine you played a lot against Steve throughout your career, so it must have been nice to spend some time in the middle with him and put on a really big partnership in Test cricket.
Yeah, it was. He is obviously a very fierce competitor and never gave his wicket away easily or cheaply. So it's always good to bat with him and learn from him at that stage. He'd obviously had a magnificent career by that stage. He was certainly coming towards the end of it, but just to learn off how he went about his cricket and never try and give the opposition a chance at all, and just bat time essentially. So that was what he was very good at doing. So it was a good experience, and photos walking off the ground with sort of him in the background was nice.
Yeah, fantastic photos, aren't they? Now, do you remember how you brought up your 100, and was there a big celebration?
I think I hit a spinner through the onside for 4 off the top of my head, but I can't really remember. But I think, and then no, I was never a huge celebrator, so we'd just raise the bat, and I think we declared at that stage as well. So it was just sort of as I scored the 100, it was sort of walking off when we declared. So no, it wasn't. It wouldn't have been too much of a celebration, I would have thought. But I was never, it was never huge highlight watching me celebrate, but I was celebrating on the inside.
Very low-key operator. Now, last one from me, looking through your stats, just the one first-class wicket. So my question is, did you celebrate when you got the wicket of Damien Martin in 1998?
There probably was a bit more of a celebration then because it was so unexpected, probably more for Marto than me. And that was the last game of our season. We weren't making finals, so we were going to lose that game. So I think, Stewie Law as captain just decided to give a few other blokes a bowl, and I was one of those. So I managed to somehow get the edge of Damien Martin's bat and was caught behind. So I'll take that one. So yeah, Test first class bowling average of 11. So I'll take that.
Well, bowling average of 11, final innings, both 100 not out. We can't beat these stats. Are you going to be watching the Shield final this weekend?
Look, I'll be across it. I can't say I'll be sitting in front of it watching it, but I'll be interested to see sort of the scores and probably watch some highlights as we go. But yeah, I won't be, obviously work gets in the way of some of those things. So, but yeah, I'll be certainly interested to see if South Australians can back it up and go and double it up. But there'll be a hard team to beat Victoria at home. So we'll be interested to see how the game progresses.
Oh, yeah, as will we. Martin, thanks for your time. All the best, mate.
My pleasure.
So, Richo, 6 for 900. It's not quite 3 for 600 like the Gold Coast Dolphins, but 4 new balls the Victorians took in that innings at the Gabba. That is hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't see that much these days, do we? I think I remember talking to Brad Hodge about it once, and he said he was falling asleep at mid-off at some point in that innings. The duration that innings went for, and obviously they were enjoying themselves probably at night because they knew that game was gone. But like we just spoke about with the club cricket final, that's some serious questions going through your head. At the Gabba as well, you just know how hot and humid it gets. So tough. So bring back the old days Shield games. Make them timeless. Imagine the viewers on the live stream. It'd be incredible. But Martin Love's actually an interesting one. I spent a little bit of time at Queensland at the back end of my career, and he was the physio. And I always remember like team meetings if the batters were struggling, and he'd just be over in the corner kind of just with his arms crossed. But he would always stay in his lane. He never blurred.
Really?
Like never got in the batting coach territory or the coaching territory, just sat there and waited for someone to say they needed their ankle strapped or their finger strapped or something. He never ever.
And no one ever went to him for advice?
Well, I'm sure they did. Again, I'm probably not the guy to talk to. I'm sure they did, like what a wealth of experience, but he just sat in the corner as if he was just a physio. It's like this guy, the record, like all those stats you just said, played, Test cricket, one of the greatest slip fielders of Australian cricket as well, those soft hands at first. But yeah, I always found that interesting. Just that guy in the corner over there just waiting to strap your ankles, also one of the greatest Shield batsmen of all time.
He must have been a pretty good physio too, I imagine. If he got high standards with batting and catching, I mean, his physio stuff must be good.
Yeah, very, very good on the ankle strap, very clean, very well organised. So good physio.
And to finish, as he touched on in that chat, he finished his Test career with 100 not out. Didn't play another Test after that. Finished his first class career with 102 not out. Didn't play after that. Pretty good at finishing
Good form.
strong. Yeah,
Good form. I think I was there that day as well when he made that. From memory, it was one of those top end.
Yeah, the one in Cairns, he got 100.
I wasn't there then. I do remember him playing the Darwin Test. So it was actually like him, Matty Elliott. I remember that Test match. It was all these guys that had plundered runs in Shield cricket for so long finally got an opportunity, and but they must have missed out in the Darwin League. Cashed in Cairns.
Well, that's what good players do. Now the Shield final is this week, and of course, it starts on Thursday, and it's going to be Victoria, South Australia. The Vics, they've been the dominant team all season, but South Australia have finished very strongly. Obviously, the reigning champions as well. And if we look at the head-to-head so far this season, we had Victoria won by 4 wickets very early in the season, and then it was a draw just in that final round, which, again, we chatted about last week. Both teams were sort of holding their cards pretty close to their chest. And across the last 8 matchups between these two sides, it's Victoria 4 wins, South Australia 2, and the draw has happened twice. So fairly even. The Vics maybe have a little bit of an advantage, and they've got also a bit of a selection crunch happening this week, the Vics, don't they?
Yeah, well, we spoke about it last week, didn't we? We're just trying to put our selectors' hats on about how we would approach that. So obviously we don't know exactly, and something could change between recording now and the toss of the coin, but by the time you listen to this podcast, you'll probably already know. So, but when you've got a team that's been so dominant through the season, there's always going to be someone who's going to be unlucky to miss, and it sounds as if Mitch Perry's going to be that guy when it comes to the crunch with that bowling attack of Boland, O'Neill, Sutherland, the captain, and then the Elliott, Murphy, Perry discussion. You're always going to pick a spinner for a final. So Perry versus Elliott, it sounds as if they're going Elliott. I think the one thing in his favour, it feels like he can bowl at any stage. He's got height, bounce. He's got wicket. He gets wickets for fun, as you said last week, whereas I feel like Mitch is more suited, obviously, to the new ball, and he's very skillful. But you've also got Scott Boland and Fergus O'Neill to play that role. So unfortunately for him, that squeeze and Scott Boland coming back from the Test team means he's the unfortunate one.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, there was a few discussions that I saw happening on social media of fans saying that they would leave out the spinner just because of how prolific those 4 quicks have been this year. 5 quicks.
Yeah.
But do you think with a 5-day game expectation it could go, you need that frontline spinner?
Yeah, I think so, especially when it's a final, it's a 5-day game. It's not your normal Shield round where if it was a normal Shield round, you're chasing a result, you could probably argue that you pick 5 quigs and you could still say you probably don't need the 5th. But if it's, traditionally they've been juicy wickets, I feel like the Shield final is going to be just a nice even, there's going to be moments for each bowler, but it's going to be hard work as well. So you're going to need to throw some variation in there at some point. And the guy isn't a mug, the spinner either, is he? He's pretty good. So, I think he needs to be in there. And even looking at the South Australian batting order, if they're on top, if they're batting well, they would want that is what they would want. It's just more pace on the ball. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
when you get a flat period through a game, you can't just keep going back to the same thing. So to throw Todd Murphy in there is pretty handy.
Totally. Now, South Australia, well, if we look at their bowling attack, they've not got the chance to select Brendan Doggett this week, which is disappointing for him. He hasn't managed to get up from his hamstring injury. But they also have questions to answer. Do they bring in, like a Henry Thornton, who's done really well when he's had a chance this season? Or do they go to someone like a Lloyd Pope to complement Ben Menenti, who's obviously locked into that team, go for an extra spinner, given how flat and how much spin we saw bowled at the Junction Oval last week between these two sides?
Yeah, I don't know if you can read into that because, again, like we said, the sting went out of the game once the final result was known, and they probably were just conserving energy for this week. So it'd be interesting if they did go two spin on the flip side to what Victoria obviously forecasting their team to be. So I would pick, Thornton, he's that bit of an X factor, isn't he? A bit of a wild card. His Shield career is still so young, but I think everyone's seen him in the Big Bash. I don't know if he broke a record, but he had a record for the consecutive streaks of wickets taken, or it was something pretty crazy. So he's a wicket taker.
Look at you with your stats.
Well, I do take notice of my fast bowling proteges. So,
and then they've also got Wes Agar that they could select as well.
Yeah, and we've spoken about this before, but a good crop of fast bowlers is usually going to lend you some success through this, through the minor rounds. And on the back of last year, their success was on the back of their bowling attack. So it's no secret, again, that they've got a good, stable crop of fast bowlers minus Doggett being injured. So, I'd pick Thornton just because I feel like he's that guy who could crack open 3 wickets in quick time and all of a sudden you're in the game if you're out of it or if you're trying to get ahead of the game. So, again, good problems to have, and watch this over the next 24 hours closely.
And he looks like he just bowls that extra bit quicker than the rest of his teammates as well. So that gives him a bit of an edge too.
Especially with Doggett out, I think you need that. Buckingham's a workhorse. McAndrew, third in the Shield Player of the Year, and we actually should say Mitch Perry was second.
Well, yeah.
Which makes that even more an unlucky omission. But, you've got your workhorses in McAndrew and Buckingham. So you want that guy you can just throw the ball to and say, for a spell, just let loose and try and crack it open. So I think you like having those guys in your team.
From a South Australian point of view, I had a look at their 11 from last year. You said that their bowling attack is very settled. Well, their whole 11 is very settled.
Yeah.
From that winning 11 last year, they've only lost Doggett.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to him, Connor McInerney, he's the only other change. So he won't be opening this week, and it will be Mackenzie Harvey. So the whole other team is the same, including Sheffield Shield Player of the Year, Liam Scott, who's done it with bat and ball.
Breakout player.
Yeah, that was not a bad call.
Good call.
My boy. And so he's just edged out, as you said, Mitch Perry and Nathan McAndrew, who has taken 120 wickets in the past 3 seasons, second overall behind only Corey Rocacholi. And he's just been so consistent, hasn't he? He does. It seems to me that doesn't matter what sort of pitch he gets, he can always find a breakthrough. Yeah,
that's a perfect way to sum him up, I think. Like, you know what you're going to get. It's 100% effort. Consistent, durable, like he doesn't miss many games. He's one of those guys who's had a really good upbringing through New South Wales and ACT second 11 and was waiting for his opportunity for a long time. And since he's come to SA, the rest is history. He's just basically been one of the first picked in their Shield team since. So he's put together a great career. He's almost that guy. If you're picking an Australia A team now, he'd be like, is he going to start pushing in the next few years? He's getting to that age now where it's kind of now or never to play for Australia. So, but he doesn't get spoken about a lot as well because he is super consistent. Those numbers are as good as anyone going around.
Handy with the bat as well. We've also got Dylan Brasher this week. He's going to play his 3rd Shield game and potentially in the final. So he made an impressive start in those matches that he has played so far, but what a way to come in. It's all about timing in cricket, isn't it?
Absolutely.
3rd game, he could be playing in a winning Shield final.
Well, yeah, how hard is it? Some guys play... Well, not like Martin Love, but some guys play a whole career and never even see a final, let alone win one. So pretty good for your 3rd game. I think he come in with, Matt Short's obviously out now for IPL, but he's had a couple of games now to get a run for it, made some runs. So I remember forecasting back in September, but you're looking at their batting order and there was so many young guys coming through that I didn't think they'd be ready yet to be so dominant in the Shield. But God, it looks promising for the future, doesn't it? With Peak, Harry Dixon's had a little bit. He's not around the mark now, but he's had a little bit of a taste. Brasher around the mark, and then you've got those old war horses, haven't you? And Hanscom and Harris, and those guys have been around a long time. So, yeah, the future looks good for Victoria.
Yeah, and Harris, he slots back into the middle order now, batting at number 5. He not quite on Martin Love's level, but he's got 3 tons in Shield finals, including I think a couple for Western Australia. So he knows how to do it on the big stage as well. And now that he doesn't have to face the new ball, well, he can just come into the middle order and churn out the runs.
It's pretty good coaching and pretty good to have someone like that coming in the middle order. So they look pretty hard to beat, don't they? I obviously have my South Australian hat on.
Yeah.
But it looks like Victoria have put together such a good season. And then when you look at the team they're putting out for this final, it's going to be hard.
Excellent. And Scott Boland, he's obviously the crowd favourite. And speaking of crowds, there's a bit of pressure on Melbourne and Victoria this week to turn up, because last year we saw Adelaide really come out in big numbers at the Karen Rolton Oval to see South Australia's victory. Well, can Melbourne do the same and really flood the Junction Oval with a big crowd this week?
I'm sure they can, can't they?
They normally turn up.
They do. And how long has it been since Victoria's been in the Home Shield final? I feel like it's been a little bit. We'll get back to you on that. Maybe we'll edit that at the bottom of the screen. But also the venue, like if it was at the MCG, it's never going to have that feel. But Junction, very similar to Karen Rolton Oval. You got these outgrounds now, these second grounds, which are great for cricket. So pack it in. Victorians love their sport. You've got AFL season going on, but a lot of teams are on the bye. So get over to Junction and cheer them on. You get to see Scott Boland in the flesh, Alex Carey. Just dropped my pen, but you get there, pack it in.
And there'll be lots of Scott Boland merchandise and paraphernalia this week. We saw him unveil a life-size cardboard cutout of himself. I think there might be a few of those floating around, potentially for even fans to take home. So definitely worth getting down and, maybe get signed as well. So Scotty Boland, he's playing his 100th Shield match as well. So congratulations to him. He's been just dominating for so long. 15 years, I think he's played for Victoria now. So
gets to run through the banner in the Shield final.
Gee, that'd be good,
amazing,
isn't it? What would his banner say?
Nothing. Literally nothing. If he got to write it himself, it'd say nothing. You know, what can I say on the Adelaide? Like, remember all the retro kit they were pulling out, some of the fans? Can Victoria try and emulate that? Like, get some old Bushrangers kit out there. I reckon that should be a big part of it. We had like, there was like Joe Scuderi shirts, Sean Tate shirts. Like, who's the most obscure Victorian bushranger that would
definitely
jersey we can spot in the crowd? Throw it out there to the Melbourne audience.
John Moss or something.
John Moss, something like that. Yeah, I like it.
I've seen on social media, because I follow their stuff, the Marmalade Boys and the Anything Is Content crew. They're going to be heading to Melbourne to make sure they can help their team over the line and maybe see South Australia to a back-to-back championships.
Well, they'll be wearing their most obscure state kit.
Maybe they've got some new stuff for this year.
Maybe.
Mark Cosgrove, I think, was one of theirs as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's good. Why don't we take a quick break? We'll hear from our sponsors and then we'll come back with some Aussie women in West Indies, some IPL, and a look back at the WNCL final. All right, it's been a great start for Australia in the West Indies. They're very short and sharp tour of the Caribbean. They've already won that T20 series 3-0. All those matches at St Vincent went Australia's way, including on Tuesday when Georgia Vole hit 101 off only 52 balls. That's her maiden T20 International 100 and the third fastest by an Aussie woman. Great start to her for her international career. I'll just read you some numbers here, Rich. So she's averaging 57.6 from her first 10 ODIs and averaging 40 from her first 12 T20s at a strike rate of 156. So when we're looking for that Alyssa Healy replacement, well, we don't have to look very far.
It hasn't taken long.
She's right there. It's great to see the Queenslander. She's just come in and dominated straight away.
Absolutely, yeah. 3-0 to start that tour. So we get to the WNCL final at some point, but obviously Queensland, without her, not needed. She's just gone to the international stage and lighting it up. So, impressive stats there. And I'm sure they're looking forward to the ODI leg now and wrapping up that series as they build towards the World Cup.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a bit of pressure on this T20 side as well. They lost that series to India just last month, and they've got a new captain in Sophie Molyneux, and that T20 World Cup is coming up in June. So quite a few moving parts. They'll be wrapped to get this 3-0 victory here and just maybe work out a few little things that they weren't too sure about. Now it's looking pretty good. They've
Absolutely.
got some ODIs and St Kitts. They've got Talia Wilson coming over to join them for her first opportunity. Hopefully we see her get her first ODI cap. And she was on the Scoop podcast last week, wasn't she? So if you want to hear from her, the latest Australian member, head over to the Scoop podcast and have a listen to that. I would ask you what they should look forward to in St Kitts, but you said you haven't been last week.
Well, can I ask you?
No, I haven't been.
Oh, you haven't been either. At least you've been in that region.
Yeah. But maybe we'll get some of the girls to report back on what St Kitts was like, because it sounds very beautiful. We saw on social media this pitch at St Vincent. They've got the pool pitch side. I know we have that at the Wacker now, but to have the pool there, that's a pretty nice addition.
Gabba had that.
Gabba had that pool deck, yeah.
Is it nice?
It's not a permanent fixture though, that one.
It's not. Do you reckon that's nice?
Well, I probably wouldn't be.
Do the players get to use it during the game?
Do you reckon they should?
Wow, a bit of recovery after the bowling innings.
Ice bath.
Ice bath?
Yeah.
I'm not sure sitting around drinking alcohol and in a pool all afternoon in the sun's my idea of fun.
There's certainly some drawbacks to that situation, isn't there?
Exactly.
Okay, we should probably move on. The IPL, that's going to start up very shortly. In fact, I think it starts this week, Richo. There's quite a few Aussies involved. Maybe not as many as we've seen in the past seasons, but still plenty of Aussie coaches over there involved as well. So I'm just going to read you through who we've got, and there have been a few injuries as well that we should probably talk about. So at Chennai, they've got Matt Short. They had Nathan Ellis, but he's had to withdraw. That hamstring injury just hasn't managed to recover in time. Delhi Capitals, they've got Mitch Starc. He'll be keen to prove his worth there once again. He's had a good little renaissance in this competition. KKR, they've got Cam Green, who is fresh off a Shield century, so that means he's in good form. Lucknow, they've got Mitch Marsh, who had that amazing season last year under coach Justin Langer. Punjab, they've gone heavy with the Aussies, as they did last season. Ricky Ponting's in charge there, and they've got Cooper Connolly, Mitch Owen, Marcus Stoinis, Xavier Bartlett, and Ben Dorshus. So some real fresh faces there in this competition. RCB, they've got Tim David and Josh Hazelwood. We know that those two always dominate in the IPL. And then Sunrisers, they've got Travis Head and then Pat Cummins, who is going to miss the start of the tournament, and Jack Edwards, who has already had to withdraw. So unfortunately for Jack, he's going to miss that first IPL, but I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Like, he obviously deserved that price he got in the auction, and just the opportunity to play. I feel like it would have been great for his development, as he's improved so much over this summer. So
breakout player.
His work over the Big Bash was, I was surprised how good he'd become so quickly, how much of a banker, especially with the ball.
Right.
I think that happened quicker than most expected. So disappointing he can't continue that on an international kind of stage. So, but yeah, the injuries up. Nathan Ellis's hamstring sounds like a bad one. It sounds like 3 months, they're saying. So it's a serious string, which the flow and effect for Australia won't be that. They don't have any kind of white ball content for a while, do they? Although mid-year in Bangladesh.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's his target, but it's a bit concerning for him now. A couple of hammies in a row, and then, the other guys, the big three, are still working their way back. Mitch has had some time off, so I'm sure he's getting back into the swing of things. But, yeah, you want to see those guys. We would love to see him doing it at the World Cup, not just start because he's retired, but it's almost like you want to see him back playing now, don't we, and kind of getting back into the swing of things. But also you have the PSL that's about to start too, so quite a large number of Aussies in that. So they kind of playing at the same time. So there's a bit of franchise cricket going on.
Yeah, they run side by side, those comps, don't they? Pat Cummins, he's only played one game in 9 months or something.
That was a pretty good one.
Adelaide Test. But we want him playing more than that, don't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's just so good. So hopefully he can get everything right. He's not rushed back here to play for Sunrisers. But I think the good thing, at least, is Daniel Vittori is coach of that side. And he's obviously the right-hand man to Andrew McDonald in the Aussie team. So they won't be taking any chances with Pat, especially with that massive test schedule coming up. But we just want to see him back playing.
I think just cricket people want to see those guys playing, don't they? Even, Josh Hazelwood, the amount of cricket he's missed. When's the last time we've seen him bowl a ball live? It feels like it's been quite
Maybe
a while.
November or...
Yeah, I think those T20s, wasn't it? So, even you don't know how long those guys have left, so you do want to watch them play and get them back playing. So, but also you touched on the test schedule coming up. I ran my eye over that quickly. It's a pretty brutal stretch coming up, isn't it?
Huge,
So
yeah.
maybe we don't want to see him bowling at the IPL. Selfishly, let's just get him cherry ripe because there's some serious. Next summer's busy, and the test team are going to be here, there, and everywhere. So interesting.
Yeah, they will. So they've got a couple of tests against Bangladesh and a tour to South Africa, then 4 tests against New Zealand, a 5-test tour of India, which happens basically straight after that New Year's test, and then the 150th test anniversary. So
it's a tough stretch.
It's a very long and, as you said, brutal stretch. I feel like with Josh Hazlewood, I know we haven't seen him bowl for a while, but because he's also not present on social media, I just feel like, is he okay? Like, do we need to check in on Josh? Like, at least with Pat, he's on Instagram. We see him pop up. With Josh, you just never see or hear
Has
him.
anyone heard from him? Where is he? He could be out in back in Tamworth. He could be.
He could be.
Oh,
so hopefully he's arrived
check in.
back in Bengaluru okay. But, if Josh, if you're listening, let us know.
Send an email. podcast@cricket.com.au. Let us know you're okay.
Very good. WNCL final, Richo, as you said, the Queensland Fire, they upset New South Wales Breakers. They had a little bit of help with the Duckworth-Lewis Stern system, but they got the job done off the back of big centuries to Grace Harris, Georgia Redmayne, and then a very important knock from Lauren Winfield-Hill at the end of her innings. The target was 333. But then when the rain came, New South Wales needed 204 from 27 overs at a run rate of 7.5.
Yeah.
With 9 wickets in hand. And then after a 2-hour delay, it got reduced to 91 from 9 overs at a required rate of 10.1. And so New South Wales were looking like they were going to get that. Then Jess Jonathan came on, got a couple of very important wickets, and it just was too much in the end.
She clutched up, didn't she, Jess? That Duckworth-Lewis doesn't sound right, does it?
Did you think that favoured New South Wales or Queensland?
Well, the thing is, when you're off for rain for 2 hours, who was ahead at that stage? New South Wales.
They were just ahead of the pass score.
So you feel like it's going to keep raining here and we're going to win. And then all of a sudden you're back on and it's blown out to 90 off 9, which, to be fair, is achievable. But it just seems like that's such a huge...
It does, doesn't it?
And usually, Duckworth-Lewis is favoured to the team chasing. So, I don't know, it just didn't sound right. That whole... Even the original target coming down to, what was it, 230 off 27?
Well, that was what they needed when the rain
stopped. Even that was like, I don't know, it sounds like a drastic change. We could talk for hours about Duckworth-Lewis and...
Well, maybe we'll have to get Duckworth or Lewis or
Stern.
Can
you get them on next week? Get all 3 of them in the room. Maybe we'll get them in person. We'll quiz them. But to defend in the wet rain, it's a massive win for Queensland. Last week you tipped New South Wales just off the base of the season they've had, the summer they've had. They've been dominant, but.
I need to stop tipping. I think that's the idea.
You got to back your Queenslanders in now, but I think the big name players stood up, didn't they? Grace Harris with the ton, Georgia Redmayne, and then like we said, Jess Jonathan. I mean, no one better to have under pressure with the ball there at the end. So massive upset, but probably not a super big surprise when you do see how good their team still is. And like we just said, Georgia Vol wasn't even playing, was she? So. Well done, Queensland.
Yeah, and I think for Grace Harris, when you watch her play, she's just too good for this competition, isn't she? She's sort of the Cameron Green. Maybe her results at international level haven't been where she wants, but when she comes back and plays for Queensland, she's just too good.
Yeah.
85-ball century for her, player of the match as well. And, she's just makes this team a whole lot better.
Should she be... on tour?
Well, at Georgia Redmayne, when she was accepting the Ruth Preddy Cup at the end, she said, thanks, Grace, for not going to the West Indies. Yeah. So they were pretty happy with that non-selection, and I think she has to be in the T20 World Cup calculations.
I mean, just a player of that can, again, we spoke about it before, but a player in your team that can take a game away and win it for you like that they're pretty rare in male and female cricket. So to have someone like that, I think you just need to pick them and play them, don't you?
You do.
and you ride the good with the bad. We've seen it over so many times in the men's side. Someone like Glenn Maxwell, you're not always going to be consistent, but when it's good, you just ride the wave, don't you? And just take that, scintillating form, and you just never know what you're going to get. But that's great. Like that's the whole point of especially T20 cricket. She's making a pretty good case to get back in there.
And not that there's any bad fielders in the Aussie side, but Grace is an excellent fielder, and she's always in the hot spots. So you want as many of those type of fielders as you can get.
Well, and I'm sure the Aussie selectors leaving her out, this is what they would have wanted to see. So she's done the right thing. So I'm not sure what she'll have on next. Maybe I'm not sure what if you're not playing on this international tour, is it off season now?
Bit of time off.
Back to the nets.
Yeah, back to the.
Well, she's in good form. Pick her.
And for Georgia Redmayne, that was her 4th century of the season. The first time anyone's ever achieved that in the WNCL. And I watched a bit of that start of the innings. Her right arm was pretty heavily strapped, and there were a few times where she'd, defend the ball and sort of rip her arm off the bat. So she was under a bit of duress, and to still pull out a century like that, it's really good batting.
Well, there you go. And now she's got the off season.
But
what a season. I mean, no wonder she's got sore arms. She's made that many runs. Her and Marna, Marna's kind of emulated that in the men's side, didn't he, with that many centuries. So, she deserves a well-earned break.
And, that's the Queensland Fire's 2nd ever title. They've come second, I think, maybe 10 or 11 times. So
they'd lost the last 2, hadn't they?
They had, yeah. So bridesmaids no more. They finally get
well-deserved
the Ruth Preddy Cup. But let's finish with the big 4 this week, Richo. In honour of Scott Boland's cardboard cutout statue, we're going to look at 4 players who should be honoured with a statue. Now, we can go back as far as we want. We can get as niche as we want. Okay. You can go for Hugo Burden if you want.
Well, he's
getting close.
Getting close.
Gold Coast circles.
Bill Pittman Oval.
Who comes to mind when you think of?
Just so we know, let's get it out there. This wasn't on the run sheet. This has been a late addition because we've gone this second half of the season. We've had Big 4 every week, haven't we?
Have, yeah.
And I feel like the listeners love it.
They do.
They look forward to it. They probably skip ahead. In the little bookmarks, they skip ahead to the Big 4. So
people do that, yeah.
I do feel like it should be in there. So you've put me under the pump here, but I'm going to throw Travis Head into Adelaide Oval.
I love it.
Darren Lehman's got a statue. Jason Gillespie does.
Yep.
I would argue that Travis Head, this is going to be controversial, is the best South Australian cricketer ever. Well, let's look at it all.
I mean, we're talking homegrown because...
Homegrown?
Yeah.
No, you're saying the Don.
Yeah, he did play there.
But he's got
statues everywhere.
Well, has he got a stand? I'm pretty sure he has that whole Western stand. So he's okay. Travis Head's the best, in my opinion. I didn't play against Darren Lehman or Jason Gillespie, and they were amazing cricketers, and that's why they've been honoured in their own way. Greg Blewett was great. There's been numerous big names, but Travis Head's the best South Australian cricketer ever. So
I love it. I love a big call. That's fantastic. Okay, so Travis Head.
Agree?
He's right up there, isn't he? He's right up there.
Who with who? he's the best. He's the best.
In terms of...
what he's achieved on the international stage and also,
Yeah, no one else has done what he's done, especially at the big games.
So you can say that he hasn't made as many Shield runs as, Darren Lehman, but he also has done, but because he's been playing for Australia and winning World Cups and World Test Championships and Ashes, his legacy is unmatched.
All right, I agree. And where are you going to put it at Adelaide?
Where he can pick wherever he wants to put it. So he's from the northern suburbs. So I would like it to be somewhere in the northern area of the ground, but that's where those heritage listed kind of the figs are and the scoreboard. Maybe under the bar at the scoreboard.
The scoreboard seems like so.
There
he
is
can just
people.
Be among the people on the hill.
But then later stages, Heady has been, he's a bit more upper class. So maybe he'll want to be in the members or somewhere around there.
How do you mean he's more upper class?
Well, he's definitely changed a little bit. He's not exactly from Gawler anymore. Yeah. So, no, let him pick.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good start, Travis.
How about we do 2 each?
2 each. Okay. Yep. All right.
Over to you.
Over to me.
Yeah.
Well, this one has come up a bit over recent years, and I feel like we do need a bit more female representation in our statues around the country. Belinda Clark, we've got her at the SCG. Not too many others to speak of, though. So I want to see Meg Lanning at the MCG or somewhere in that vicinity because her numbers in international cricket, all those World Cups she's won, test numbers are good too. And what she's done for growing the women's game, I think she's got to be around there somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
And now that she's done, I mean, I would say Elise Perry is definitely deserving of one as well, given everything she's achieved.
Well, is that your two?
No,
I think that's fair.
that's fair.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it saves coming back to me at least.
But then it's like, does Alyssa Healy deserve one too? Which ground? I mean, the North Sydney is synonymous in Sydney New South Wales for women's cricket, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
they
it
play a
is a
lot of
bit.
their content there.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think then about North Sydney. I was like, oh, Ben Dunk, North Sydney. He's 200 and
High score, yeah.
And I was like, well, Darcy Short at Hurstville, 257. Now, I'm probably not giving this the respect it deserves, but I'm just on the spot.
Yeah.
So I'll give you those two. I think
Okay, I'll take
Elise
those two.
Perry and Meg
Yeah.
Lanning deserve statues.
I think
100%.
absolutely they do.
Again, they're two of the greatest we've produced.
Mm.
They deserve their statues.
Scott Boland, is he in
Well,
statue
he's the
territory?
obvious one, isn't he?
Yeah.
But where?
But when
MCG
you,
again.
But when you look at the other contemporaries he's played with,
Yeah.
the big three,
yeah.
he hasn't done more than those.
But I
has
think
he?
it's more unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of his background, and I think he's blossomed late. Everyone loves him because of his demeanor. Like there's just so much to it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the other guy's pretty compelling. Should you just do a big four statue?
Oh,
Sorry, big three statue.
that's good. That's really
They probably
good.
deserve. I mean, then Nathan Lyon's like, what about me?
But would Nathan want his at the Adelaide Oval or the SCG?
No, he's SCG, isn't he? Unless he's at the Nets at Adelaide Oval. The groundskeeper's shed. Look, as you can tell, this wasn't on the run sheet, right? So we're literally, usually we meet about this,
Oh, we
hours before.
Yeah.
We get up pretty early podcast day, don't we? And
we
go
want
for a
to
run
pour
and-
over all the stats
Yeah.
and get everything right. But
so
this
as you
one's
can
off the
tell,
cuff.
we're making this up. So
No doubt the listeners will have some good suggestions though.
maybe we leave the fourth to the
Oh, that's good.
send it in. You decide.
That's good.
Travis Head, Meg Lanning, Elise Perry. Fourth, let us know.
Yeah, and you can go back as far as you want. Doesn't have to be a current day player. Maybe someone like I don't know, Bill Laurie deserves one.
Yep.
Yeah. Let us know. Podcasts at cricket.com.au.
Who? So I said Lehman, Gillespie have them at Adelaide. Ponting has a stand at Belrive. Is there many other well-known?
Stands.
Yeah, well, like we're talking about Alan Border Field.
Yeah.
Which
Justin
has
Langer
Matt
has a
Justin
stand
Langer has a stand
at
at
Perth.
Optus.
Yeah.
Matt Hayden's stand at Alan Border Field,
That's
along
right.
with the Stuart Law stand.
Very good. Yeah.
So you're getting. So it doesn't have to be a statue. It could be a stand or a ground.
Well, there's going to be a new, brand new stadium in Brisbane, isn't there, for the 2032 Olympics? Do we need a name for that and a couple of stand names
Stands.
for that? Definitely.
Can the Junction Oval be renamed then? You've got like Karen Rolton. Or why can't that be, Meg Lanning Oval? Or you've got Karen Rolton Oval in Adelaide.
Yeah. That's really good.
Give her the oval.
Give her the
Or
whole
Scott.
thing. Yeah.
And then Scott Boland stand at Meg Lanning Oval. I think that would be.
Now we're cooking.
Now we're cooking.
This
Should we
is
keep
good.
going? Keep cameras rolling?
All right,
Send them in.
Let us know. Let us know. And next week, Richard, it's going to be the final episode of the season. We're going to recap that Shield final. We're going to look back on some season predictions that we threw out in September. Or
Keeping receipts.
keeping receipts, as we love to do. And I'm sure there'll be a few other things to chat about as well.
Perfect. Is it, last day of school, do we get to wear
Yeah, casual clothes, whatever you
casual?
want.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Mad Monday.
I'll see.
I'll start planning it.